Hey y'all, this is Wolfie. Welcome to the live. Today we're going to check out some instant reactions of 49ers training camp from 49ers content creators such as Grant Cohn, David Lombardi, and Larry Kreuger. We did the same thing yesterday, so we're going to do the same thing today to try to, just accumulate the information and just get a good idea of where the 49ers are headed. So let's just jump right into it. And we got Grant Cohn here. Keep in mind that these videos are going to be probably blurry and a little laggy. I do not have a hard wire into the modem. I use a laptop, so if it gets blurry in the video, I do apologize. But anyway, here we go. This is Grant Cohn, instant reaction. Let's go. Oh, I did the same thing I did yesterday. I forgot. Hold on. I did this yesterday. Okay, so there we go. All right, share. Okay, cool. My bad. I forgot. There we go. All right. Start that over.
Already completed. Niners just wrapped up day 6 of training camp right behind me, and it started out really well for Brock Purdy. Completed his first 7 throws. He had a deep touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel. It was Brock Purdy's first deep touchdown pass at training camp. He was looking perfect, like a future Hall of Famer. Someone you really want to pay $65 million a year to. Then he threw a pass that hit Fred Warner in the chest and he dropped it. You're thinking, it happens. Fred Warner's a great player.
For sure.
Then about a few minutes later, it's a pass that Diamador Lenore drops. Like, okay, that's 2.
Well, that's just because he knew he wasn't going to catch it.
Then he throws a pass that is right to Jair Brown. He picks it off.
He's a good
Then
safety.
the next throw, he throws it right to Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. He picks it off. Then the next throw is a really nice check down to Kyle Juszczyk. Then the next throw,
a nice check down,
intercepted.
All right. Okay. First of all, we complain about Kyle Juszczyk not getting the ball enough, but if we get him to a check down where a fullback is supposed to get the ball, we have a problem with that. Well, not a problem with it, but we got to be like, well, now he's starting to do check downs. It's like, nah, bro, come on. Quarterbacks throw check downs. It happens.
By who? Hold on. Who was it intercepted by this time? George Odom. This one was a deep throw to Juwan Jennings that Jennings couldn't come down with. And then finally, on the next throw, Purdy threw a pick 6 to Lenore.
That's a good one.
On a pass that was intended for, I don't even know. Couldn't tell you. But yeah, so it wasn't Brock's best day. And does that mean he's not good? No, but it does underscore the fact that he throws a lot of picks. His interception percentage last season was among the league leaders, and no one cared because the rest of his stats were freaking incredible.
He threw like 11 picks last year. And I think like the most picks thrown, I do not quote me on this. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure the most picks were thrown were like 20 something. Him having 11 picks is something to remark in a video. Like, come on.
Well, maybe that's what his career is going to be like, but in training camp, he's going to throw a lot of picks.
Yeah.
In regular season, he's going to throw a lot of picks. There's going to be a game every year.
He threw a lot of picks last year.
Today was that day. Yesterday, he threw 2 picks. Today, he threw 4. It could have been 6. He's an anticipatory thrower. He's not a game manager.
True.
Game managers don't do stuff like this, and maybe that's a bad thing. For Brock, his greatest gift is his greatest weakness. It's going to a spot and trusting your receiver. And I'm not putting it on the receivers today. It was Brock who didn't have a good day, but he's still a good quarterback. Tanner Mordecai got 2 throws in 11 on 11s, hit one of them. The second one was a good throw that Ricky Pearsall dropped. So, hey, watch out for a quarterback controversy.
That was a joke.
Pearsall didn't participate in one-on-ones, got 2 targets in 11 on 11s, playing with the backups, and caught 1, dropped 1. The best rookie wide receiver on the team today so far, Tariq Owens, had a deep touchdown catch in one-on-ones and then had a deep.
Okay, Tariq Owens, Terrell Owens' son is balling out. Okay, all right, let's continue.
Touchdown. Catch in
11
on 11s. He's a good player, Tariq Owens. Cody Schrader, a good rookie.
He's a good player, but I just heard about him now.
Isaac Arendo still hurt. Jacob Cowan, haven't seen him. One-on-ones, I was waiting to see Pearsall, and he didn't really make an appearance. It was Deebo, who could not beat Diamador Lenore. And that's not a knock. Well, it is a knock on Deebo, but it's also a testament to Diamador.
I was going to say, let's give praise to Diamador Lenore shutting down Deebo Samuel. Yeah, Deebo Samuel's not the greatest route runner, but still, Diamador Lenore shut down Deebo Samuel. There's no need to take a shot at Deebo Samuel there. There was just like DeAndre Lenore. Just gotta say Lenore is a clutch lockdown corner. He locked down Deebo Samuel. That's all you gotta say. You don't have to point out what Deebo did there in that situation, in my opinion.
To DeAndre Lenore, who picked off the pass intended for Deebo in one-on-ones, is like a shutdown corner. Really rough day for Isaac Yiadom, who isn't, I don't think, good. They need Bernardo,
really,
but he wasn't.
I've heard nothing but great things about Isaac Yiadom. Nothing but great. I have not heard anybody say, hey, Yiadom is not good. He has not been good in camp. He's been terrible. Did he have a bad day today, so that makes him bad? Nah, man. I've heard more good things about Yiadom than bad. This is the first time I've heard anything bad about that dude.
Out there today, he must be hurt. Stay tuned on that on that news. But yeah, 4 picks for Brock Purdy. The sky is officially falling.
No, it's not. It's not falling. Every quarterback throws interceptions in practice because they're doing things they wouldn't normally do in games. That is going to happen. He threw a crap ton of picks last year too. Let's just stop with that. Come on. Anyway, back to the next video. So that was Grant Cohn in his instant reaction to 49ers training camp. The reaction to that is the picks. Obviously, I just told you about that. Tariq Owens, hearing about him is a huge boost. I like hearing that. So outside of that, when it comes to offense, sure, you know. And then defensively, obviously, our defense is just astounding right now. Lenore is a top dog, in my opinion. So is Ward. Green, I've heard nothing but good things about him. I've heard nothing but good things about Yiadom as well. That was the first time I heard anything bad. But I guess the talk of the camp is going to be the 4 interceptions, but there's a lot more that happened. But we'll go ahead and jump into the next video. Let's just jump into the next video, and we are going to look at David Lombardi's, I believe. No, yeah, we'll look at David Lombardi's video. So let's check this out. Let's see what we got going on. 49ers instant reaction. What Burford's broken hand means for Brock Purdy O-line. That's kind of weird title for your video, but hey, let's watch it. 11 minutes, dude. 11 minutes is an instant reaction. Bro, you need to keep that video like 4 to 5 minutes long, tops.
And he's probably going to miss a few weeks. Right now, the 49ers and Burford are determining whether or not he's going to have to undergo surgery. But either way, you can expect him to miss some time, and that's going to stretch into the month of August. And what that has done is it's opened the door for the rookie, the 3rd-round pick, Dominic Pooney, to grab first-team reps at that right guard position. Now, John Feliciano, who last year replaced Spencer Burford as the starter at right guard down the stretch, he also has been out of practice the past 2 days. So Dominic Pooney's there working with the 49ers first team at that right guard spot. And, you know, you have to project forward and see what they might do along this offensive line. I think that this indeed is a golden opportunity for Dominic Pooney to try to secure some early playing time for the 49ers. It seems that they're doing a lot of experimentation, not just at that right guard position, obviously by necessity due to these injuries, but also at center. Jake Brendel's the incumbent starter there, and he's still taking the first team reps of these practices. But remember that Brendel was dealing with a knee tendonitis over the course of the spring program. That's why he didn't practice then. At the very least, the 49ers are easing the load on Brendel during first team reps, because we saw both Ben Barch and Nick Zakel, the 3rd-year player, roommate of Brock Purdy, saw both of those guys also take first team reps at center. So when you look at this, the 49ers' weakest position, or 2 positions last year, were center and right guard, along an offensive line that in general struggled outside of Trent Williams. And that's also important for this offensive line. They need to get Trent Williams back, because Jalen Moore at left tackle, he's not going to be a plus starting caliber player for the 49ers. But
this says a lot. If David Lombardi is telling you, hey, man, this guy is not it. This guy is not starting caliber. You know that dude's not playing, bro. If David Lombardi's the one coming at you being like, nah, dude, you're just not it, dude. You're just not it.
But either way, center and right guard, that was the biggest weakness last year. And those positions have been in, at the very least, a state of experimentation here early in training camp.
Right tackle.
Injuries forcing Pooney into that right guard spot, and he might be ready for it. The 49ers, I mean, they picked this guy out of Kansas, Dominic Pooney, who didn't give up a single sack in 2 years with the Jayhawks. He came from Central Missouri before that, a D2 school, and he seamlessly made the transition to D1 football. So who's to say he can't make the transition from D1 football to the NFL, since he's already made that big D2 to D1 transition. He looks the type physically. 49ers have all spoken well of him. Chris Furster called Dominic Pooney special the other day. He's played all 5 positions, so he's got experience everywhere. I think that it's definitely in the cards and on the table, the possibility of Dominic Pooney starting right away. Remember, Spencer Burford started as a rookie at that right guard position, but unfortunately for the 49ers, he struggled last year, and now he's broken his hand, so we'll see if they're going to use August to make a transition at that offensive line position.
I'm glad that we're talking about the offensive line, because I don't feel like we're talking about the offensive line enough in all of these videos from all these content creators, because it's that bad. So it's good to hear something about the offensive line. The center position, I don't think was worse last year. I think it was right tackle, right guard, and center. I'm glad that we're trying new things, because they were still bad regardless of not being the worst. Hearing that Brendel's not taking first team reps all the time is different. Pooney, I'm pretty excited about that. Him playing all 5 positions is great and all, but like in the NFL, that's completely different. You're going to have to, I don't know. I disagree. I don't think he's going to be able to play 5 all positions in the NFL. I think he's just going to be a right guard. I think he's going to be a guard strictly. That might be.
Practice today, or one more note from after it, Kyle Shanahan said that Talanoa Hufanga is going to be back in a week or 2, and then he was pressed for more details. He said that Hufanga is currently on PUP, physically unable to perform, coming off the ACL tear, finishing up his rehab. He said around the time of the joint practices with the Saints, which are going to be down in Irvine, that's when the 49ers are going to evaluate Talanoa Hufanga and potentially activate him from PUP and for practice. So that's in mid-August, and we're currently in late July. So yes, a couple weeks from now, Talanoa Hufanga might be back out on that field. It is notable to say that Kyle Shanahan said that he feels great about where the 49ers safety position is at right now. So Kyle Shanahan not worried about that safety position. Doesn't sound like the 49ers are imminently going to sign somebody to reinforce that safety position. And I think the good feelings about Talanoa Hufanga returning at some point soon are definitely buoying the 49ers' belief in the safety position. Okay, practice today. Brock Purdy made some more good throws. He's been making good throws, especially those intermediates. He got one over Fred Warner today. He's been making those every single practice. We've been making those for 2 seasons now. The intermediate passes for Brock Purdy, we haven't seen an NFL quarterback more efficient on intermediate throws than Brock Purdy has been over these past 2 seasons. And that's on documented record. Remember that the yards per attempt, like 12.3 yards per attempt on throws that traveled between 10 and 20 yards in the air. So we're seeing more of the same from Brock Purdy at practice. He spoke with Mike Silver from the San Francisco Chronicle in an interview, and that came out today. And Purdy's quote was, "I want to be dominant." He's citing Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's just ruthless domination of opponents is something that he wants.
This isn't an instant reaction. Like, you're not telling me what happened in training camp. You're kind of going a little off, just a little off track here, my man. Just a little off track. I like it, but
wants to attain himself.
Points,
well,
man.
Brock Purdy is well on his way to dominance based on how this training camp has started for him. He has looked in total command for the 49ers, despite the fact that they've had some upheaval in front of him along that offensive line. Good news for the 49ers today is that the backup quarterback position looked better, at least with Josh Dobbs. He went 10 of 11. I talked about Dobbs struggling through the first 3 days of practice, airmailing some of those throws over the middle, just generally not looking as comfortable, especially accuracy-wise for the 49ers. Was not the case today. He hit Danny Gray on a deep out, and he hit Chris Conley on a deep out, just 2 perfectly placed passes Not easy
Okay.
throws. And then later on, he had Danny Gray on his seam
Joshua
route.
Dobbs is getting better.
And you might notice that I'm mentioning Danny
better.
Gray's name a lot. That's also nice news for the 49ers. This speedster out of SMU has been, you know, hindered by injuries, buried on the depth chart here for a couple seasons. He actually entered the league the same year as Trey Lance in 2021. And there was so much hype about Danny Gray after he caught that deep pass from Trey Lance in the preseason against the Packers back in 2021. But other than that, we haven't heard from him much except for special teams. And obviously the injuries essentially scuttled his entire 2023 season. So Gray caught 3 passes today. 2 of those were really impressive routes and throws from Josh Dobbs downfield. So good news for the 49ers backup quarterback position, which had been languishing a bit through the first 3 practices. There was a play today that I thought was great news for the 49ers on multiple fronts. Christian McCaffrey came out of the backfield and was sprinting down the left sideline. Brock Purdy made a perfect throw, back shoulder throw to Christian McCaffrey near the sideline. It would have been a really tough catch. McCaffrey couldn't hold on. It would have been a really tough catch because Devondre Campbell, the 49ers' new linebacker, the veteran who's the favorite to be the number 2 next to Fred Warner while Dre Greenlaw recovers, Campbell had McCaffrey blanketed on the whole route. And remember, Devondre Campbell was an all-pro 2 seasons ago.
Blanketed Christian McCaffrey. That says a lot. I like hearing that. Devondre Campbell showing up. A lot of people thought he wasn't going to be as good. I've heard that he's washed, etc. I'm not saying like, oh, he's not washed now, but I'm definitely saying that like if you're covering Christian McCaffrey, the running back, which linebackers are supposed to do, that says something, right? So
season, it seemed that he really slowed down for the Packers. Actually, gave up the highest passer rating of any qualifying linebacker in the league on throws into his coverage. If Campbell can regain, and he's 31 years old now, if he can regain some of his coverage speed to the level that he showed as an all-pro a couple years ago, look out. And that play today where he blanketed McCaffrey, that opened my eyes. I mean, that's potentially really, really good news for the 49ers. Now, it was a perfect throw from Purdy, and you can't even be upset with McCaffrey for not hauling it in because it would have had to have been a perfect throw and catch to beat the coverage from Devondre Campbell. So I just thought that was a one-play anecdote of something that was good on all cylinders for the 49ers.
Hey,
one more injury report.
You know, welcome to the family.
We know that Jacob Cowing has been out. It's because of a hamstring, the rookie out of Arizona. Thoughts? So Cowing, just like Ricky Pearsall.
Let me go ahead and. I didn't see it. I went back to watch a video of. I went to go watch his last video that someone told me that he was talking crap about David Lombardi. I said my piece on that on in the community tab on my YouTube channel. I've already said what I thought about that. As for Damon and Bruce and Grant, I don't know. I've heard they go way, like they've been insulting each other for like months now. Like the drama between them has just been going on. Just like whatever. It's whatever to me. I do think it's funny the things that I hear about them, like bickering. The last time I saw Larry Kreuger and Damon Bruce alive, people in the comment section just kidnapped the comment section. It was just like, did you hear what Grant said? Did you hear what Grant said? Did you hear what Grant said? And then you can see Damon Bruce just like, anyway, I don't condone it because we're supposed to be adults. We're supposed to be professional. We have followers, you know, and if you act immature like that, other people are gonna like feel the need to act that way towards that same creator they're talking crap about. So I'm not for it. I don't agree with it. I do think it's funny outside looking in, but as a 49ers content creator, I hope that they stop talking shit about each other and just keep focusing on football. I know it gives us drama in our lives, but you know. Anyway, back to the video.
Just like Isaac Guerrero, those are 3 49ers rookies. They're all out with hamstring issues. The 49ers do expect Pearsall to be back in the fold next week, perhaps as soon as Monday. There was another cool moment with a linebacker today. Tatum Bethune, the 49ers rookie out of Florida State. One play, the 49ers ran a rollout with one of the
I apologize, guys, for the lack of quality on these videos that I'm trying to show you guys. I've said this already, but I'll say it again. I don't have a hard wire to my laptop, so it's going to lag.
Their backup quarterbacks.
Hopefully, guys, you can still
it
hear
was
the
a
audio.
naked bootleg, and those are plays that test the defense's discipline on the play fake, right? The rookie Tatum Bethune, good recognition, did not bite on the play fake, stayed home, and then the 49ers new defensive assistant was KJ Wright, the former Seattle Seahawk. He was fired up because obviously
people were so pissed. Seahawks fans were so pissed that KJ Wright decided to be our linebackers coach, and I just take it all. I just feel the hate, just taking all that hate, and it just fuels me. You know, I'm glad that we got KJ Wright. I really don't like the Seahawks. Same thing with Richard Sherman. When we got Richard Sherman, I was like, yeah, we got Richard Sherman, and just rubbed it in their face. I like that a lot. Currently, right now, Steelers are going through that right now with they got Roquan Smith. They're feeling that feeling. So I know where they're at right now.
KJ Wright comes from the linebacker background. He was a linebacker for the Seahawks for a long time. It appears to me that he's very, very interested in the development of Tatum Bethune. And he came up to Tatum Bethune and gave him a big high five, kind of sprinted out onto the field to congratulate Bethune for staying home, which a rookie won't often do facing a Shanahan offense in training camp. So that, to me, was impressive from the 49ers 7th rounder. And then it looked like he had a good run fit right after that.
I'm tripping ass. This video was 3 days ago. Hey, y'all, that video was 3 days ago. Don't listen to him. Oh, my Jesus Christ. I could have sworn that was the video they had. My bad, guys. My bad, y'all. That was a video. That was his instant reaction 3 days ago. I was wondering. I was like, Burford broke his hand like days ago. Okay. This one is Larry Kreuger. This is actually him today. This is him today. I know for a fact. All right. This is him today. Okay. All right. 2 minutes. That sounds about right. Let's go.
Levi's after the 49ers just finished up practice. A practice that was dominated today by the defense. The defense dominated this practice. 4 picks, I believe, in this practice from Brock Purdy. Some of the highlights, I thought Tanner Mordecai had one really great ball. J.P. Mason had a number of really good runs. Demo Lenore had a PBU. Purdy hit Kittle on a long crosser. I thought was one of the highlights. Purdy hit Debo down the sideline for a touchdown. He beat Isaac Yiadom. It was a phenomenal play. That was probably the highlight of camp on offense. Purdy threw a dime to CMC on another pass play. We saw a brawl ensue in this thing as T.Y. McGill, who's under some pressure. He may not make the roster. T.Y. McGill's under some pressure for his job. Him and Jarrett Kingston, the rookie from SC, mixed it up. I'll say this, man. Nobody should want any part of Jarrett Kingston. I mean, Jarrett Kingston is a house. He's really, really strong. T.Y. McGill's an old head who's pretty tough in his own right. But as I said, he's under pressure to make this roster, and maybe he's feeling some of that pressure. Fred Warner dropped an easy interception. We saw Cody Schrader with a really, really nice run. Jair Brown had a nice interception. There was also a Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles had an interception on a ball thrown by Purdy where he cut across and made a late play. Lenore had a pick 6 against Purdy. That was the 4th interception. And then Ambry Thomas had an interception against Dobbs. So overall, 5 or 6 picks from the defense. A lot of good things to be seen out here. To me, the Purdy to Debo down the sideline was the highlight play of the practice. But overall, I would say it was a defense-dominated practice.
Hey, thank you for the likes, man. I appreciate that.
Some highlights from the offense, but for the most part, the defense dominated this practice. We're going to go inside, talk to some of the key contributors right now, and we'll have more in a bit.
Oh, no, don't want to show an ad. I'll get in trouble. No. Okay, so that was Grant Cohn. That was not David Lombardi because that's an old video. That was an old video of David Lombardi. And then we saw Grant Cohn also talk about camp today as well. So from what I'm hearing, is Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. Personally, he threw interceptions a lot last year too as well, so I'm not looking too much into that, to be honest with you. Do I think it's like something to worry about? No, because again, we saw this last year, and I think he's just trying new things. Like the practice is where you try new things, and I've said this like 4 times in like all my videos, but I just want to get this across. Practice is where you do things you don't normally do. You do things where you're like, can I fit this in the window? Can I make this throw? When the defense adjusts like this, can I make this play? There's reasons for interceptions at times. However, the 2 drops and all, it's not a good look for people who think practice matters when it comes to those kinds of stats. If he starts playing like that in the preseason and then the NFL, that's when you should start worrying. That's when you should start it, because again, he's done this before. He's been there before, and he's played in the NFL last year without that even being a concern. So I'm not too worried about that. Let me see if I can find the David Lombardi. What is it? The David Lombardi instant reaction. There we go. Lombardi. What? Okay, this is it. All right, 4. Okay, this was it. This is it. Okay. All right, here we go. This is David Lombardi's reaction to the instant, to the training camp today. Sure. Let me bring it up. I already started playing it too. Language.
Well, the pump fake was able to get Deebo Samuel open on a deep pass against Isaac. All right, now that was a practice, the most competitive 49ers session yet. And if you're Kyle Shanahan, if you're a head coach of a team, it's exactly what you want to see. It was very, very balanced. It started with Brock Purdy absolutely on fire. Pump fake, they called him the pump fake god at Iowa State. Well, the pump fake was able to get Deebo Samuel open on a deep pass against Isaac Yiadom. 60-yard touchdown, dropped in a bucket. Beautifully done for the 49ers.
I feel like Pump Fake God has a really humorous joke in there somewhere. There's a joke in there somewhere that I think is hilarious.
A little bit later, Brock Purdy was rolling to his left away from the pass rush, and he just flipped his hips on the run. Tossed one over the defense, another deep ball, 25, 30 yards in the air to Christian McCaffrey, who ran it in for a 60-yard touchdown. But later on, the defense struck back. The 49ers moved to what we call move the ball. That means the chain gang actually moves along with the offense. So it more closely simulates what you're going to do in an actual game. And during the move the ball session, Brock Purdy got intercepted a couple times. So we saw Deommodore Lenoir get him for the most damaging interception, probably would have been a pick 6. And then there was a deep ball, similar kind of play where Brock Purdy was trying to get away from the rush. And he went deep to Jawan Jennings, maybe 40, 45 yards downfield. And George Odom, the safety, made a really physical, nice pick right near the sideline. Wasn't sure if he was inbounds or not, but we'll count it for George Odom. Practice actually finished with Josh Dobbs, who's in the competition to be the 49ers backup quarterback, throwing an interception to Ambry Thomas. It was the longest, most intense session so far. One-on-ones actually happened. So, I mean, again, if you're Shanahan, you're always in these practices. If your offense is doing really well, you're like, oh, is my defense up to the task? And if your defense is doing really well, you're like, is the offense doing what it needs to be? So this early in camp, I think that it's a good sign to see some true balance. And I think we saw some true rhythm and some wild plays from Brock Purdy early, but then we saw the defense just muscle up later. Purdy's 8 completion streak to begin the practice ended when Fred Warner jumped in front of Chris Conley. And it was a ball that Purdy shouldn't have thrown, but Warner didn't pick it off. He dropped it. So gave the 49ers another chance in that move the ball session. But still, it was a situation where obviously it broke the streak for Brock Purdy early on. We saw a really, really impressive practice today, and it's the first one for Terrell Owens' son, Tariq Owens.
We didn't hear anything from Larry Kreuger about Tariq Owens. Grant Cohn said great things about Tariq Owens. And now Dave Lombardi saying good things about they both have some sort of, common ground at least.
They did one-on-ones for the first time with second day of pads. That's tradition for the 49ers. And I watched the receivers against the cornerbacks. And there's two other one-on-one sessions going on. It's the tight ends and the running backs against the linebackers, which I'll obviously watch coming up in some of these other practices. And I'll have a fuller report on what happened in those one-on-ones a little bit later. But the receivers against the corner saw Tariq Owens win twice, including on a deep ball against Ambry Thomas, who finished up the practice with that interception.
Okay.
Tariq had been dropping some passes early in training camp. I mean, he looked like the
he's making
raw
plays now, right?
that he is. He played a lot of basketball, and then he switched to football fairly late. He runs a lot like his dad, Terrell Owens. And late in practice, he caught a deep ball for a touchdown from Brandon Allen that, I thought was a nice little counterpunch from the offense that might have needed one toward the end of the really competitive practice that saw that defense asserting itself. I'll have more on all the one-on-ones. I thought Danny Gray had a nice go route that he turned into a comeback. Was impressive. And I did think that the 49ers were in a position where it showed again that they definitely need Trent Williams back, and they need to improve that pass protection. Obviously, big number 71 is somebody who can do that for San Francisco. But on some of those move the ball third down attempts, including the Purdy interception to Deommodore Lenoir, the pass protection was not up to standard. But still, that's how we react to this practice. We look at the way that it went back and forth today. It was surely entertaining out there between the one-on-ones, between the offense and Purdy dominating early, and then the defense striking back with that handful of interceptions. Christian McCaffrey, still a really good football player, by the way. He's running hard. He's running really well for the 49ers. There's even a minor little scuffle. I got to get into that a little bit later. But it was T.Y. McGill, the defensive tackle, against Jared Kingston, the rookie offensive line.
We've heard that part already. So pretty much that's everything. We've looked at all the 49ers content creators, the big ones that were at the practice on the sideline and checked out everything. So this is the overall, just like what everything happened today. Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions, and according to all 3 of the creators, it should have been 6, pretty much, which is not good to some people, but to me, I don't think it's that big of a deal as long as it doesn't translate to preseason and the NFL. Tariq Owens apparently has been dropping a lot of balls, but according to Grant Cohn and David Lombardi, he's been showing up these past 2 days. I guess today he showed up, and I think yesterday he made a play as well. So he's been doing good. Who else? I've heard Mason was doing great, according to Larry Kreuger. Yeah, I think that's really everything. Really much going on. I guess the defense was the star. That's what I've heard a couple of times. The defense was the star today at training camp. And I don't blame them. If there's 4 interceptions, possibly 6, I guess that definitely says a lot. But yeah, and then also the offensive line. I saw this before I came on live. I saw that Jesse and Coach were on, and they said that the offensive line and the D line were battling each other. It wasn't like D line dominating the offensive line per usual. According to them today, the offensive line was battling. And that is something you like to hear, even though I still think the offensive line is trash. You could tell me they were great today. I don't care. That offensive line is not going to translate to the NFL season. No way. But it's good to hear that there's some players like Zakel, Barch, Kingston, Pooney, players that are not getting a lot of reps are actually getting reps, especially the rookie Pooney. So that's something I love to see, something I love to hear. Yeah, I think that's everything. I covered everything. Trying to think, is there anything else to talk about, to say? Oh, and apparently Yadam is not very good. Apparently, I've heard nothing but Yadam being a stud this training camp. I've heard him being a stud. But according to Grant Cohn, he's not good. Like, he hasn't been good. So somebody is not telling the truth here, because Larry Kreuger says that Yadam's doing good. David Lombardi says he's good, even though David Lombardi says everyone does good most of the time. But Grant Cohn's the only one that says that Yadam is not doing good. He's literally the only contact with Jesse, Coach. He's the only one to say he's not good. So I'm confused there. But I digress. yeah, I'll leave it here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do another live tomorrow again, covering the same thing, all the content creators, and just getting the gist of what happened. Thank you to everyone who liked the live. I do appreciate that. To everyone who asked questions, I appreciate that. It helps the channel, and I really love doing this. And I promise you, the quality and everything else is going to get better as we grow. I love you, fam, and I'll see you at the next video.